Welcome back to day 2 of our special presentation, Spring Survival and How to Thrive in the Post-Corona World. Hopefully you watched our video yesterday and got a lot of great information about how we mentally need to shift our thought processes from how we thought the world was going to be to actually how it is, how it was pre-corona to actually how it's post-corona, to be able to thrive in this new world that we're creating. So today we're going to have a wonderful special guest, Dr. Jason Stevens and Dr. Randy Tabita, two of the best chiropractors that I know that's helped out thousands of families live happier, healthier lives, and it's all through the chiropractic care that they deliver. What really makes them unique is their focus on stress and how stress affects your health in your life. And what more stressful time has it been than what we've been through the last couple of weeks. So we know stress plays a major component of it, and they're going to teach you specifically how it does that, what aspects of your health that people kind of are missing that's playing a major role in it, and actually how it impacts your health. So they're going to teach you some tips and secrets. We're actually going to teach you the 3 things that you need to do to help evolve and actually help your body adapt to stress. And they're also going to teach you the reason why most people don't get healthy, even despite of stress. So they want to share you all that great information. So hopefully you enjoy this content and stuff, and enjoy these great doctors as much as I do. Also, too, they're going to be using some of the information in our Spring Survival Handbook. If you haven't yet downloaded it, please just go up to our file button here under the Facebook thing and download that, because the information in there is what they're going to be using in their presentation. So hopefully you enjoy this presentation as much as I did.
Learning how to thrive, not just survive during these difficult times, is something Dr. Jason and I, myself, Dr. Randy, will be going over here to give you some good information on some things that we can do to keep not just ourselves healthy, but our family members healthy during these difficult times, but more importantly, after all of this blows by. So today I want to start out talking a little bit about this guy right here. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Albert Einstein. So really good story here is Albert Einstein was teaching a group of students, and he passed out an examination, and as he was doing that, one of the students raised his hand and he said, "Professor Einstein, these questions are the same questions that you gave us last year." And Albert Einstein looked at the student and he said, "Yes, you're correct." He said, "The questions are the same, but the answers are different." So as we approach our healthcare and ask, really what makes us healthy, what keeps us healthy, we've been asking this question for hundreds and hundreds of years, and the answer is constantly changing. So what we're going to do today is spend a little bit of time giving you some of that good information on things that you can do to make your body and your family's bodies so much healthier during these rough times. One thing I like to start out by doing is telling a story here. So with your permission, I'd like to start with my story on Vicky. So Vicky came in the office with her husband over a year ago. When they came in, you could just tell the look of frustration on both of their faces. They've kind of been to doctors here and there, and they've not gotten great results. So one thing I did is I sat down and just asked, what it was that was going on. So whenever I asked that, I could see the look in both of their faces where they just looked defeated. They looked frustrated. Vicky really opened up about things that she was dealing with. So one of it was migraine headaches. She was getting about 3 of those migraines every week. Some of those were so severe that she had to go to the emergency room to get treatment for that. So that was a huge thing that was affecting her life. We talked about other things that was affected, diabetes being a big one too, affecting circulation within her body. Her blood sugar levels were out of control. It was really hard to stabilize those. She also dealt with chronic lower back pain since she was in her 20s. So she actually underwent a surgery called a laminectomy that's meant to cut out parts of the vertebrae to get some pressure off of the spinal cord and the nerves, which is supposed to help increase mobility and take pressure off, decreasing symptoms. So as she did that, she noticed that a few months went by and her symptoms slowly returned. So she was extremely frustrated that she went through that surgery and it didn't help. Other things that she was doing was just pain management, trying to deal with her back pain, is undergoing different injections, medications that would help her body just function on a daily basis. She noticed fatigue, her energy levels were down. So a lot of things going on, and just looking at not only what it was affecting in Vicky's life, but even discussing with her husband, he missed doing the things that they used to do together because she was just unable to do those. So, how many of you out there know people that are dealing with some of these, and it's just changing their lives? So one of the really cool things we saw is with Vicky is she started her treatment, and then 3 months into care, we noticed some great changes. So one of the things we noticed, the migraines and the headaches that she was getting completely went away. So I think she had one headache at the beginning, and then they all just started to resolve as her body got healthier. So that was amazing that she could do more without suffering from any headaches. The other thing we noticed is her blood sugar got a lot better. So her A1C levels, when she started, were at a 13. 3 months into care, when we did her follow-up examination, she had blood work done recently, and we saw those numbers decrease to 6.3. So Vicky was doing a great job cleaning up her diet, taking some supplements that we recommended, which really play a huge role in how her body was healing. Other things she noticed too is her back pain was gone, where she was able to do so much more movement. She was able to exercise because she was exercising. She was losing weight. She was getting more energy. So in 3 short months of treatment, Vicky pretty much saw her life do a complete 180. So how many out there would like to see those results with them? I know I would myself. And one of the good things today, we'll give you the opportunity to really get your health assessed. So those of you that have been to our seminars before, we always give you a call to action at the end on things that you can do to help improve your health. So some of us take advantage of that and some of us don't. So one thing we'll be doing today is giving you another opportunity to really take advantage of this offer and figure out ways that you can help improve your health too. Other thing to go over is questions. I love questions. So are Americans healthy? Every time I ask that, I never get a response of yes, we're healthy. Everyone says no. And it's usually in a split second. So let's take a look at why Americans aren't healthy. One of the things we like to look at is genetics. We like to say, I was born with this. My mom had this. My dad had this. That's why I have that. So genetics does play a small role in our health. But what we do see is what's called epigenetics plays a much more bigger role in our health. So epigenetics means lifestyle, things that we're doing in our life that are causing these health conditions. We look at environmental factors, air we're breathing, different types of food that we're eating and taking in. So all of those two things, lifestyle and environment, plays a much bigger role in our health than genetics. When we take a look at genetics, our genetics haven't changed in thousands and thousands and thousands of years. But what we're noticing is our health is changing. So what this picture shows is the rise in obesity over the years. So as we look in 1985, you have some of those states that are light blue and blue, which is showing a rise in obesity. As we see 10 years later in 1995, we see a much darker color that's showing more and more people are obese. When we get down to 2005, we see the colors getting even darker and darker. Some reds, some dark blues showing, now it's rising up to 35% of that state's population is obese. And then we get to 2014 where we see that rise even more, where it's 30% and above of obesity. So, why is this happening? If we're supposed to be a healthy nation, let's look at things that are playing a role in causing weight gain, causing obesity, which is causing healthcare problems to rise here. When we look at how much we spend on healthcare, the average person in the United States spends $10,586, which is almost pretty much twice the amount of the average person in the world. So it looks like we're spending double the average on healthcare. But what are we seeing? We're getting sicker. We're not getting healthier. We're seeing obesity rise. We're seeing other healthcare conditions, just like heart disease, strokes, cancer. We look at asthma. We look at infertility issues, diabetes, depression. All of these things are on the rise. So what we do know is our current medical model, it's failing. It's not making us healthier. Think about people that have one of those or two of those. Maybe you out there has a few of these or a handful of these. So what are you doing now that's helping improve your health and not just dealing with these. So one thing they say is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So what we can see is if we're approaching our healthcare that way, where we keep taking more medicine, we keep spending way too much money and not changing different things in our lives like lifestyle habits, yeah, we're going to see us get sicker and sicker. Things aren't going to change around. So now is the time to take action. We must improve our health. Here's an interesting statistic that really touches home. So brutal fact here is people have never been sicker. So what they've noticed is if we keep progressing at the rate at which we're progressing, kids born after the year 2000 are not expected to live as long as their parents. So those of you with children, think about that. That really hits home, knowing that your kids are not going to live as long as you. So we need to make changes because that can't be acceptable. We can't going at that rate in which, we're seeing kids now coming in with chronic conditions that people shouldn't have till their 30s and their 40s. We're noticing kids in their teens having it, early 20s. So it's all about taking action and changing our lifestyles so that we don't continue on this trend. One thing we did too is we put together 3 reasons that we're in a healthcare crisis. So the first one is personal responsibility of making the wrong choices. So we have enough information out there where we're able to determine what's good and bad for our health, so we need to take action on that. Also, when we look at personal responsibility, who's in charge of our health? It's us, right? It's not your doctor, it's not your insurance company, but it's you. You know things that you need to be doing, and it's time to take action and do those. The third is something that we'll get back to at the end of the presentation. Dr. Jason will go over that. But the second one is the wrong definition of health. So how do we define health? Is health merely an absence of symptoms? So if I don't have any symptoms, does that mean I'm healthy? Well, the answer to that is no, because symptoms will show up late stages of processes, not early on. Just like with heart disease, usually the first sign of heart disease is you're dead. So that person before a heart attack felt great the day before, the week before. They didn't probably have any symptoms. So we can't just really rely on the lack of symptoms showing us how healthy we are. So we have to really gauge that on things that we're doing in our life and getting tests done to monitor that. All right, so what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to pass it over to Dr. Jason. What he's going to do is go over 5 questions that we have to ask ourselves to be healthy. So take some notes. This is all good information. And if you have any questions, feel free to mention it in the comment section, or feel free to contact the office. And here's Dr. Jason.
Like Dr. Randy said, now we're going to talk about 5 questions you have to ask if you want to be healthy. So let's jump right in with question number 1. Question number 1, are you designed to be healthy or are you designed to be sick? The answer is extremely healthy. Our bodies are designed for optimal functioning and optimal health. What we see is everybody falls on this illness-wellness continuum at some point. Most of the time when they come into our office, they're somewhere around this point right here where they're starting to experience symptoms. But the problem with this continuum is that it's not static. We're constantly moving. We're either moving towards health or we're moving away from health. And everything we do, everything we think, everything we feed our body is moving us in one direction or the other. And it also either speeds or slows that direction. So we can be zooming, going really fast towards high-level health, or we could be speeding towards disability and disease and premature death. So the question I always ask is, where do you fall on this illness-wellness continuum? How many of you out there have kids? Where do your kids fall on this illness-wellness continuum, and which direction are they headed, and how fast are they headed that direction? Or how about your families? Where do your families fall on this illness-wellness continuum, and which direction are they headed, and how quickly are they headed that direction? The thing is, you can change that. You can change the direction. You don't have to just wait for disability and disease to happen. You can start making changes to progress your body to high-level optimal functioning and health. Our bodies are extremely smart. The example I always use is fever. What is fever in the body? Fever is heat. Why would our body create heat? Heat kills. So if you're going to sanitize something in your house, you're going to use hot water or steam to kill viruses or bacteria. And that's what heat and fever do in our body. The fever helps to kill off that virus or bacteria. So it's an extremely smart thing our body does. But what do people do, or what do most people do when they have a fever? They take something to bring the fever down. So we're working against what we just said is an extremely smart, healthy thing for our body to do. I know Dr. Randy talked earlier how we judge health is not based on just symptoms, whether we have symptoms or not. So we can't just treat a symptom. We need to get the body strong so that our body can thrive and really have optimal vitality and health and energy and not just survive through something. So question number 2, what is the most important system in the body for staying healthy? The most important system in the body is probably not what you're thinking of. Most people think immune system or maybe digestive system or cardiovascular system. But the most important system in the body for staying healthy is your nervous system. Your nervous system is the master system that controls and coordinates all those other systems, whether it is your immune system, your cardiovascular system, your digestive system, whether it's your sinus and allergies, your nervous system controls all of those. We have nerves that run through all of our body to every cell, every organ, every gland, muscle is controlled by nerves. We have nerves that control our sinus and allergies. We have nerves that control our heart and lungs, our reproductive system, our digestive system. So everything in our body relies on communication from our nervous system. And if that communication isn't there, our body can't function at 100%, can't work at 100%. We also then start to experience symptoms or problems. So a lot of problems can be related back to the nervous system. So question number 3, is your life stressful? If any of you out there say no, I'll gladly switch places with you, because life is extremely stressful, and it seems each month, each year, it seems to get more and more stressful. We're presented with more and more stresses on a daily basis, and there's different types of stress. There's mental emotional stress, whether it's financial stress or whether it's work stress, or whether it's the news, especially with this crazy time we're in right now. If you watch the news, you realize how stressful the news is, because it's all bad news that's on there. It stresses us out, it brings us down. There's also chemical stress, what we put into or breathe into our bodies. There's environmental toxins, household toxins, things like cleaners, or different sprays or perfumes certainly are all toxins. Even drugs or antibiotics, if you look at any medication that has a list of side effects. Those side effects come from some of the toxic ingredients in there. There's also packaged and mass-produced foods. If you look at any boxed or bagged food, there's a laundry list of chemicals that they put in there to preserve those foods. So the more of those things we put into our body, the more we stress our body over time as well too. There's also physical stress. The first physical stress we talk about with everyone is the birthing process. There's studies that show about 85% of newborns have stress or irritation in the nerves in the upper part of their neck from the birthing process. There's things like old sports injuries. When we were young and nothing was going to stop us, we could run through walls, right? There's things like old car accidents or sleep postures. Hopefully none of you are sleeping on the tire of your truck. But we know we get into some crazy positions when we're sleeping, and that can really affect our spine and our nervous system. And the huge one we see in today's society is sitting. We're sitting at computers or on cell phones, and we're sitting for such long periods of times now. What we're seeing is this flexion epidemic where everybody's shoulders are rounded forward. They're getting forward head carriage because the head is out in front of their shoulders. Puts so much stress and strain on the neck and shoulders. This is a really great example. The normal head, if it's right up over the shoulders, weighs about 12 pounds. If your head goes 2 inches in front of your shoulders, it goes from weighing 12 pounds to 32 pounds. And for every inch forward, it's another 10 pounds of pressure on your neck and the muscles that support your head. So I always think of some of the little old ladies that we know that look like their head is about 10 inches out in front of their shoulders, how much weight their head is putting down on their neck and shoulders, how hard those muscles have to work. It's no wonder we see so many people with neck tension and tightness or headaches because of all that extra pressure and from postural changes going on there as well too. So the thing with stress is also cumulative. It's not just stress from today or stress from yesterday, but it's stress over a lifetime. If we don't do something to help our bodies offset that stress, it continues to build and build. And that's why you'll hear so many people say, well, I'm just getting older, that's why some of this is coming on. Well, it's not just that we're getting older, it's that our bodies are getting broken down by repetitive day after day after day, stress after stress after stress. It just continues to build and break our body down. So what does all of this stress do to our body? Stress causes a condition we call subluxation, which is a chiropractic term for stress or damage on your nervous system. It can cause things like joint misalignment, soft tissue damage, inflammation or nerve irritation, muscle spasm, and cause stress response in the body. And the thing with all of these, so any of the writing in black, all of that happens before we ever have any kind of symptom or any warning sign that there's a problem going on. We don't start to experience symptoms till this part down here where our nervous system becomes overwhelmed. Going back to what Dr. Randy said earlier, we can't just judge health by how our body feels, what symptoms we have, because we don't feel things until it's too late in the process. We've got to start to look at how can we really be proactive with our health and really start to make changes before symptoms and problems arise. Subluxations then can be the cause of a lot of major health problems. Most people don't think automatically, oh, I have high blood pressure, I should go get my nervous system checked, or I have asthma or allergies, I should go get my nervous system checked. But if you understand how the nervous system works and how it controls your body, if there's interference or subluxation on that nervous system, it can affect all of these different things. Things like blood pressure, asthma, allergies, autism, depression, anxiety, digestive issues, sleep issues, reproductive issues. So if you're listening to this presentation and you have any of those issues, now is the time to get your nervous system checked. Can you find out how your nervous system's functioning so you can really see, are your issues related to your nervous system? So question number 4 is, do you know how well your nervous system's functioning? Or how do you know how well your nervous system's functioning? The example I always use is, how do you know if you have high cholesterol? What do you have to do? You have to get it checked, right? Or how do you know if you have high blood pressure? What do you have to do? You have to have your blood pressure checked. It's the same with your nervous system. The only way we can tell how healthy or how well your nervous system is functioning is to do testing. And we have some very specific nervous system testing that we do in the office. We do computer scans that measure your nervous system. So you can see these graphs on here with the different colored bars. Those are areas of stress or subluxation on your nervous system. We'll also check your posture when you come into the office, because posture is the window to the spine. It tells us how your spine is holding all that balance through the rest of your body. The other thing we do is called bilateral scales. So you're going to step on 2 scales, not because we want to know how much you weigh, but because we want to see, are you holding extra weight on one side versus the other? Because what that will show us is if you're carrying an extra 10 pounds or 15 pounds or 30 pounds on one side, is you're really going to start to wear that side much quicker. That's why we see a lot of problems are more one-sided versus the other, because of the way the body's holding that posture. The other thing we do is a test called heart rate variability that gives us a predictor of how well your body's going to heal, how your body's handling stress, how much energy levels your body has to really proceed forward. So it really gives us a lot of information that we can put together the most specific treatment plan for you so that we can really see what we need to do with you going forward too. So, question number 5, what should you do to correct problems with your nervous system? So this one is really simple. You have to take action. You can't just sit back. You can't just watch this video and expect something to change. You have to take action. You have to do something different than what you've done before. We talk in the office a lot that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. So we can't keep treating health and healthcare the same way. We have to look at doing things a different way. And part of that is being an active participant, making some changes for yourself. So we created what we call our 4-legged stool of results. So the 4 things we think really get you the best results are, number 1, adjustments, and adjustments in rhythm. We'll set you up with a schedule where you'll get adjusted on a regular basis to not only get yourself feeling better, but get your body and your nervous system as healthy as possible going forward. Number 2, is bad habits. What kind of things are you doing? We talked earlier about that illness-wellness continuum. What kind of things are you doing that are moving you towards illness or moving you away from health that you can start to make a change in? It can be as simple as not drinking enough water or not getting enough movement or activity. It doesn't have to be major changes. It can be small changes, baby steps over time that really have a drastic impact on how your health improves. So number 3 is exercises. And what we did for you guys listening to this presentation is we put together a really amazing handout for you guys with lots of information that you can utilize to really thrive and not just survive, really make some drastic changes for your health. In that handout are going to be some really great exercises for your spine, your nervous system, for your neck and back to not only stretch but strengthen those areas. So make sure you check out that Spring Survival Hand Guide, download that, print that out, utilize that, and start to do some of those exercises. Number 4 is nutrition. What we feed our body really plays a role with how our body heals. You probably heard the term, you are what you eat, and there's a lot of truth to that. What we put into our body, what we feed our body becomes. If we're feeding our body junk and junk food, our body feels sluggish and run down and doesn't work like it should. But if we're feeding our body lots of good nutrient-dense foods, our body's going to have more energy, heal better, respond better, have less inflammation overall. So it's really important what we put into our body. So these are our 4 legs of the stool that we find are really important at getting you optimal results in our office. So Dr. Randy talked earlier about the 3 reasons we're in a healthcare crisis. So now I'm going to go over reason number 3, procrastination. We know health doesn't wait. We know heart disease doesn't wait. We know diabetes doesn't wait. We know cancer doesn't wait. So we can't wait either. Now is the time to make changes for your health. Let's not wait 6 months or a year or 3 years, because we know what happens with our health over that time. Does it get better or does it get worse? It gets worse. And it takes longer then to really correct those health problems down the road. Now is the time to make changes. We're going through a crazy time in our country where we've never experienced anything like this before with this coronavirus and all this craziness going on. Now is the time to make sure you are as strong, your family is as strong as possible, your bodies are as healthy as possible. So when you're presented with this kind of stuff, we can say, you know what, I don't need to freak out. I don't need to be afraid because I know I'm as strong as possible. So now is the time to make those changes. So you might be asking, how can I make those changes? So we have 3 things for you to do, 3 action steps. I said earlier, you have to take some sort of action to really see change. So we have 3 action steps for you. The first one, if you've never been to our office before, what we want to offer is a new patient special for you. So if you've never been in, we're going to do a full set of scans like I showed you earlier, consultation with myself, Dr. Randy, or Dr. Chris. We'll really get into your history and find out what kind of stressors have been on your nervous system over how many years, so we can really determine what we need to do. Normally, all of that plus the scans would be $120 value. If you comment on this video, if you comment Thrive in the comment box below, we'll give you a $45 special. So what you need to do is write in the comment box Thrive, and we'll have one of the staff members, one of our girls, reach out to you to get you set up so we can do those scans and get you set up for that first visit. If you say, you know what, I'm already a practice member, I already come to the office, but it's been a while since I've been in, what we want to offer to you is a free rescan. So if it's been a while since you've been into the office, we want to check your nervous system, measure your nervous system, because like I said earlier, what's the only way we know how your nervous system's functioning? We have to test it. So if it's been a while since you've been into the office or you haven't had scans in a while, comment below also. Comment Thrive below, and we'll get you set up for a free rescan so we can get you set up in the office to come back in and get a rescan so we can see how your nervous system is functioning as well too. And last but not least, I want you to make sure you download the Spring Survival Guide Handbook. We're gonna have a link so you can click on that and download that full handbook. It's gonna have recipes in there. It's gonna have exercises like I talked about in there. Have a lot of great information that you can utilize for you and your family to start moving in that direction of wellness instead of moving in the direction of illness. So I hope you guys got some great information from this. I want you to take action. Make sure you comment Thrive below if you want to get that first visit or rescans. And we look forward to hearing from you soon.
So wasn't that some great information? Doctors really shared a lot of great insights into your health. Probably some of the things you never even put together. We always realize how unhealthy we feel when we're under stress, but never really how that connects together. So now that you have that information itself can be good, but really have to implement and put it into action. So what I'm going to do is tell you and encourage you right below, right down here in our Facebook thing, just write one of the things that you're going to do differently after hearing this presentation. How are you going to adapt to these stresses that are going on? How can you make your body more stronger, more resilient? We're here to help you out. If you have any questions after this video is posted, just put them down here on the Facebook page and we will come back around to answer it. And we also want to let you know we are here to help you. If by viewing this and stuff you've never been to our office or you haven't been to our office for a while, give us a call, give us back in. We are essential. We are open during this time frame and we would love to take care of you and help you out too. So I just want to prelude is tomorrow we have one of my most favorite speakers that are going to be joining us. Amy Lackner is a naturopath. She's going to be talking about how we can evolve through this time frame. What we want to see is this time frame a good thing or bad thing? You know, you can view it either way. Some people are seeing this opportunity that we're kind of, again, locked in our own house and stuff, an opportunity almost like a cocoon of a caterpillar into a butterfly. How is that cocoon going to change? How can we evolve into this beautiful butterfly on the other end? Amy's going to share with you some great insights of how we can use this cocoon time to evolve into that butterfly. She also is going to share out some essential oils and stuff that she uses to help you through this. So I'm really excited to have her join us tomorrow with some amazing information. So look forward to it and come tomorrow to check that out. All right, take care and just let you know if there's anything we can do, please reach out to us and let us know.